Hello and welcome to another edition of Inside Franklin Athletics. This is a special edition because we have kind of more of a combination, more of a coach here to talk about the season and what would have been. Also a former FCHS athlete along with us to maybe touch on her time here or at FCHS a little bit. This is a 1998 Franklin Community High School graduate, one of my friends from high school. Shared many memories together, and she has graced me with her presence despite ignoring a couple of my emails asking her to be on. We have with us Amanda Ray, aka Amanda Bullington.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
All right. So first of all, how are you doing with this whole coronavirus work at home kind of thing? How's the adjustment going for you?
Definitely been an adjustment. And with tennis not happening, this is kind of the first spring that I've actually been around the house. So that's been kind of different to see yard work and things that I normally don't do. It's oh, I get to do that now.
Now, do you get to do it or do you have to do it? Is that
have to? Well, I don't know. It depends on which way you look at it. I see it as have to do it. I'd rather just mow it all over, but whatever.
So where are you now? And don't say your house. I mean, school-wise. Work-wise, where are you?
Work-wise. I think it's going pretty well. With this the learning at home thing. So I teach fifth grade at Custer Baker, fifth grade math. And so far, so good. Not too bad. So this is my 17th year teaching fifth grade. Yeah.
17 years.
I know. We're old.
I think you're a little bit older than I am. I was significantly young for our grade.
Oh.
To quote Michael Scott.
I'm sure.
Okay. So you are assistant coach. Are you assistant coach for both tennis teams?
No. Just the girls. So okay. Was thinking about the boys, but that's a lot. It's a lot. Coaching is a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And, as a mom. And so, nope, just the girls, and been doing that ever since I graduated college. And so this is would have been my 17th season.
So we got into this season, and obviously it's just kind of unprecedented times with everything that's going on with the coronavirus and everything. As a coach, how do you kind of process everything that's going on, and what are kind of your emotions as far as the season, the lost season that you had?
At first, it really didn't cross my mind that we wouldn't have the season. And then once things started being canceled and the thinking, oh my gosh, it's a possibility. So it's been a whole roller coaster. And what's been really hard is to I'm trying not to let myself go to what we think would have been, I've thought about it, but try not to let that consume my thoughts of we missed out on this, and this that we were planning on happening this season. Yeah. And it would have been a big deal,
Okay, so let's go there. What do you think? What do you think, as a coach? What were some of those things you were planning on happening?
Well, planning on happening a third straight year for winning mid-state conference, and which we hadn't won. I asked Rusty when the last time Franklin had won the mid-state tennis conference, and he thinks maybe 94 before we won it 2 years ago. And then we won it last year. So it was kind of big that we had won it 2 years in a row, and we were totally reloaded to go again.
Right.
So that was something that we were really excited about. Being ranked again in the top 20 was what we were hoping and kind of expecting. We ended up at 17 last year. Nice. And we kind of dropped at the end just because of our loss to Center Grove and sectionals, and we've been kind of in that top 20, top 30 for a few years. So kind of doing that again. And then a couple seniors that have just had incredible seasons. incredible careers, like going for that. 2 of our seniors had a shot at winning mid-state conference for their position for the 4th time. And
wow.
that has only happened one other time in all of mid-state tennis history. And that was another Franklin High School player, but that's it. So they would have been the 2nd and 3rd player, and all would have been from Franklin to have won mid-state in their position all 4 years. So.
And who were those 2?
Allison Bennett and Rachel Pinnock.
Okay.
They had won the past 3 years at 2 doubles. Not sure if they would have been at 2 doubles this year or not, but just in their positions, even if we had moved them around to maybe different positions, they could have possibly won. So
what are the positions in tennis, and like how do you, because you say they won at 2 doubles, but they're clearly good. So
yes.
Is that like their number 2 doubles team, or is it just like you give them that designation and it doesn't necessarily mean there's a better team ahead of them?
So you kind of pick players and you separate them between singles players and doubles players, which so there are things that you can be a really good doubles player but not a really good singles player. So doubles, like quickness and speed, where singles you need to have kind of longevity and pace. The points are a lot longer, patience. So you kind of separate the players in that way, and then you rank them in that category. So then your best singles players go 1, 2, 3. And then you put your best 2 doubles players together to create the best doubles team, which would be a 1 doubles team, and then the next 2 best doubles players. So our one doubles teams the past 3 years have just been really, really good, and they've been able to beat Allison and Rachel, in matches in practice. But compared to other teams, 2 doubles, they were dominant.
Okay. So have you ever had someone be like the number 1 singles and number 1 doubles player? Because I think that's what I would have done.
Yeah. We had, now in high school, in college, you can play both singles and doubles. But in high school, you can only play one, during a match. So, but last year, Kate Hukin played 1 doubles for us. And the year before, she had played 1 singles. So, and a couple years back, Hannah Hook had played 1 doubles and played 1 singles. Oh, no. Did I lose you, Powers? Are you back? Am I back?
I don't know if it was you or me.
I don't know. It probably was me. So where did you lose me at? Kate Hukin, she played 1 doubles last year and 1 singles the year before. And then a few years back, Hannah Hook went to regionals at 1 doubles her sophomore year, and then came back and played 1 singles the next 2 years.
So really they're just really good tennis players and really durable and kind of.
Yes, both those girls. Yeah. But there's not that doesn't happen a whole bunch.
Okay. So who were some of the girls on the team and kind of your expectations of each of them?
Oh, it's hard not to we had a ton of seniors.
Right.
And, yeah. So I don't know, Lexi Wilkinson moved in as a freshman from, they had lived in Shelbyville. And they moved in between 8th grade and freshman year. So, and she's a great player, and she's going to go play tennis in college. And she was probably going to be our 1 singles player. Emma Genter, one of the Genter twins. Emma's had an incredible junior year. She actually had won, what'd she go? 80. I counted it up. She went 84-1, the number of games. Like in your tennis match, you have games, set, match. So you have 6 games in a set. She won 84 games and only lost 1 in our first 7 matches last year.
That's pretty dominant.
Pretty dominant, because when you think about it, that's hard to do. And when she lost that first game, and she was mad. Oh boy, she was mad. So she's just killer instinct. She's going to Purdue, ROTC. She's a military girl. Her twin, Claire, She's going to IU. Isn't that funny? One going to Purdue and one going to IU.
Well, one of them's smarter than the other, apparently.
They both are very smart.
Yes, they are. One going to IU making better choices.
Better choices. So, then like I said, Allison and Rachel were coming back and possibly having for that mid-state, hopefully getting them a 4th title. I don't know if they would have been playing doubles. That was kind of we weren't sure about our 2 doubles and our 2 and 3 singles. So who was going to be playing where? We had a couple freshmen, Aylin Hendricks, Ava Pennick, Emma Williams kind of come in that maybe could have played in some of those roles. So just trying to figure out, where everybody would have fallen. So, and we had Haley Rail. She's a junior this year, and she had been our number 2 singles player last year. She could have been number 2 singles, or she could have played at 1 doubles because she's a really good player too. So versatile. So yeah, those are a few of them.
Okay. So had you started practice yet?
Conditioning.
Okay. So what do you do for conditioning as far as tennis goes?
Well, we're probably not as we should do better. I'm going to say that.
No, don't say that. I don't know what I'm talking about. You just say it. I'll be like, wow, that sounds really hard.
No, a lot of it it's hard to do indoors. And to be honest, we've got so many programs conditioning indoors in January and February. That's not a lot of space. So we met over at Custer Baker, and we could get a gym and just did running. Just body weight stuff.
You do like line sprints and stuff?
Sprints. Yep. Rusty's big on not doing long distance. He says it makes your footwork slow. So the ladder, doing a lot of the ladder footwork drills. So
that sounds legit. Like long distance makes you a little slower.
A little slower.
A little more comfortable. So I've got a workout for you. A conditioning one. Okay.
Okay.
It's you set up a line, and they're in the back, and then you just throw the ball up right over the line, or over the line that's considered the net.
Okay.
And you have to run and dive and catch the ball before it hits the ground.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Toughness,
reflexes,
and let's go with do you want itness.
Do you want itness? I know. That would be so that would be painful if it happened out on the tennis court. If they got
do you want itness. That's what it builds up. You're just like your body adjusts to it, and you're like, well, last time I did this, I just got a little floor burn, and so you're not going to think about it. Now, hear me out. Potentially, let's change the courts to grass or clay, and then the diving wouldn't be
wouldn't be as bad. No, grass or clay would be okay. But that's what happens with a lot of our volleyball players. They come out there if they haven't played a lot of tennis, and then they get rolled into it, and they start diving, and then it only takes once or twice, and then they're like,
and they stop diving. I would imagine. So as far as tennis practices and everything, just take me through a typical tennis practice. How does that go about?
It depends. We try to kind of go off of what the girls kind of need. I don't know. I don't know if you've noticed this. There seems to be lots of injuries in sports with kids now. Do you ever remember being like?
Yeah, it's because they play sports the whole year.
The whole
everything
year
the whole year, and that's why everyone gets hurt.
And it's the same. I mean, so backs and shoulders, and they complain about it. And I'm thinking, when I was 16 or 15, I don't remember things other than muscles. I don't remember things hurting.
Yeah. Well,
and
here's what I've noticed. This is my thing. I like to run, and I'm horrible at stretching. And I've noticed as I've gotten older that this is not the best habit to have been in. But I'm like, I've been in this habit for 20 years. So what am I going to do? Start stretching now? I've tried to, but I've noticed how much stretching, my wife always teases me because if something in me is hurting, I'll say, oh, I just
Yeah.
stretch, like back, especially because I don't think kids know, like the back, everything is so connected to the back.
Supported.
And
Yeah.
it's like the legs. So if you have back injury, it's like your glutes and your hamstrings and your quads and all that stuff is connected. So, and then just putting all that wear and tear on it, I mean, it wears it down. Like, I think that's a lot of the issue.
A lot of it. And I know Marcus does a great job. I mean, we send him to him and he's able to get him stretches and stuff. But sometimes during the tennis season, if we have 3 or 4 matches in a week, practices will be pretty light.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on what they are feeling. A lot of the work, to be honest, goes in before season. And, during the winter, if they can get indoors a little bit and hit some, because you just don't have time to teach. You can't change grips and you can't, add in new shots during the season. So
with like changing of the grips and things like that, would that be something where if you're holding it a certain way, this ball does certain something? So it's like if you're holding it a certain way, the club or the racket moves down when you come and hit it, and it goes down into the net. So you have to adjust that and everything. How do you see that, or do you just say, "Here, hit this ball, and we'll watch what happens to it"?
Well, so when, like, again, during the season, we kind of just put Band-Aid fixes on things to try to make it doable. And then over the summer, when we do clinics and stuff, we'll change grips, because you just have to hit a lot of tennis balls to get the grip changed. So a lot of that is with serves, like how they serve and trying to get more spin or more power on a serve. So we try not to mess with that stuff during a season, because the spring season is horrible weather. And so
it's so weird.
Oh, horrible. So it's windy and it's cold and it's rainy, and you can't play tennis, and like there's no way you can't do tennis in rain at all, because the balls won't bounce because they soak up all the water. So the courts have to be completely dry. So it's not even like baseball where it rains and you can go out right away. Like, you just can't do that.
So those little squeegee things, right? The little rollers.
Yeah, they're horrible. Somebody for good money, somebody could if they can invent something better. But it does. I mean, it'll take on Saturdays.
Quarantine project.
There you go. Yeah, they would be a millionaire, because on Saturdays when we have matches that are supposed to start like 9, we'll squeegee them and we'll have to wait. If the sun isn't out and it's not windy, we'll have to wait an hour or 2 hours for them to dry. So, yeah, even with squeegeeing.
So do you notice a difference when someone's playing indoors and then when they come outdoors? Is there a difference in that too?
Yep, there is, because the wind impacts what you hit so much. And just playing indoors, you're just used to being drilled. So it's just like the ball bounces exactly, to a certain spot. It's not a lot of like real game experience. So that's a transition, but it still is helpful if they can hit a little bit, before the season starts. So,
So how did you get involved in tennis?
My parents, my freshman year of high school, my parents told me I had to do something in the spring. And I had always done softball, but I didn't want to do softball anymore. I just did it because Andrea Roush always did it. So I just did it with her. But I was done with softball, and there's no way I was going to do track. So Kate Ramsey and I just decided we'd do tennis. We figured we'd be pretty bad at it and wouldn't have to go to all the practices and stuff. And it would just be a low key thing and just do basketball AU. And then, but the second match of the season, I got put in at varsity. So
you're basically a natural. You're kind of a prodigy.
Kind of a prodigy. I didn't know how to hold a racket. I didn't know the rules. So I played with Kristen Black. She was a year older than me, and God love her. She was so patient. But I was just it was crazy. I don't know what Rusty was doing.
Now, I think like the rules with tennis would be pretty easy to explain, though. I feel like it's like when you're playing, see that square, the ball has to hit in between those lines, and when you're serving, it has to hit in between that. Couldn't you just basically be like, and it can't bounce before it has to go over the net, and you can hit it over however you want?
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, they are pretty simple.
Yeah.
He had put me in doubles, which, and again, a lot of people, if you're just going out and hitting doubles, it's not a big deal. Like you just play, whoever's closest to the ball gets to hit. But
Right.
actually, doubles is a lot of strategy and a lot of movement and even plays. So I was trying to figure out where I was supposed to stand, because there's certain places you're supposed to stand. And if you're not in that spot, then it messes up your partner, and you can lose the point real quick and get hurt, get hit in the face. So that was a little overwhelming at first, trying to figure that all out. But overall, I just knew I just had to get the ball back. So
when you said plays, like the first thing that came into my head was, hey, we're going to do the play where you slam the ball. And it's like you get it and it's coming to you and you look like you're going to hit it. And then you duck down and someone comes jumping over your back and just slams it. It's like, let's do the slam play. Is that right? Does that seem accurate?
Yeah, that's not a play, but it does happen. And you play it off as if it was set up that way. So the girls at the net will go for an overhead and they'll whiff it, because it always happens. And then the girl, as long as her partner is right there, then she can get it. And then everybody's like, yeah, that was totally meant to happen.
What about like faking an injury, and then they get all the attention on them, and then the other person just knocks it over?
Yeah. I haven't tried that one. No,
Okay.
I haven't tried that one.
Just think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And now there is some strategy as far as like, if you got a volley up at the net and you just totally aimed for one of the other girls, like you just really went right for her. And even if you missed her, if it went out of bounds, if you just put a lot of heat on it and aim it just in her general head vicinity, like just upper body, make her duck, make her kind of get panicked. Sometimes that's an intimidation.
Is there like unwritten rules in tennis of that you don't do that, or is it just like have at it?
Have at it. I mean, yeah. So, but the thing is that the harder you try to hit the ball, the more likely it's just going to hit the back fence and be out, and you don't win the point.
But
okay.
You what?
I thought I lost you.
Yeah,
again.
no, I don't think I had enough foresight to do something like that. I would say I missed my sport, but I don't think I did. The few times I played tennis, I wasn't necessarily. I was awesome, but
right.
That was a quick study. So you get playing tennis, and when does it kind of become something that you're like, oh, I really enjoy this, and you started playing more and more?
Just right away, because we had a really good team. Yeah. I just totally lucked in to the best scenario. So I was at 2 doubles, and our 1 doubles team of Stacey Moreau and Katie Bennett had just won state in 1 doubles the year before as juniors. So then they were seniors, and they were so good. Like, we didn't even ever practice with them. I mean, they were at our practice, but they had their own, like, it was a whole different level, and they were just so good, and they beat everybody so bad. And we had really good singles players. And so it came down sectionals. It came down to we were going to win at 1 doubles easy. And then we were going to win at 3 singles, we figured. But we thought we were going to lose at 1 and 2 singles. And so then it came down to 2 doubles. And we ended up beating these 2 girls. They were twins, actually, sisters. And they had killed us in county, and we beat them, and we won sectionals for the first time for Franklin in like 20 years.
Nice.
Yes, because Center Grove is just really dominant with tennis. They're always in the top 10, which is just, it's hard to have them in sectionals, It'd be like having sectionals with Carmel swimming. Like, you're just kind of like, it's just hard. So, but yeah, so that was my freshman year. That was a pretty big deal. So then I was like, well, I love this. This is a lot of fun. So I tried to give that time over the summer and stuff, along with my other sports.
Yeah. So you got the bug then.
Yes.
So what do you remember? Like, what's your favorite couple of memories from just playing tennis growing up in high school and all that stuff?
This sectional game is always one of my favorite ones. I don't know. I got to play with Kate Ramsey, one of my really good friends, for doubles a lot. And so that was a lot of fun. Always having conference tournament. Our conference tournament was always the morning after prom.
That's bad planning.
I know. And so when I was a freshman and sophomore, the upperclassmen girls would come in and they'd look horrible. And it was an all-day Saturday event, like all-day Saturday tournament. And they just it'd be horrible. And then junior and senior year, it was like, oh my gosh, this is really bad. So I tell the girls we don't have that anymore. And I'm like, you're lucky, because that was hard. But playing at Franklin College was a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of good memories with that.
So do you still play a lot?
Not as much. I did after I graduated college for 3 or 4 years. We'd play in old ladies doubles league indoors. And it was great. It was fantastic. We were the youngest people by, I don't know, 30, 40 years, but they were great. It was so much fun. And then I did like USTA for a couple of years, but it's hard to do coaching and play yourself. And then like kids, my kids came into the picture.
Everything up. Why you have 3?
I know they require some time.
So you played in 90, it was 94 to 97, basically.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I guess it would have been 95 to
98. Yeah.
And then you come back. So you are coaching with your coach, correct?
Right. So Rusty was my high school coach and my college coach.
So what's it been like coaching with the legendary,
the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Indiana,
Hall of Fame. In the athletic wing.
Yes. It's hysterical because he's just the same as he's always been. He has an incredible memory. So he will point out things every year, every season. We'll be somewhere and one of the girls will hit a shot and he'll look at me and he'll say, well, Amanda, do you remember when you did that against Decatur and we lost that game, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember that at all, Rusty.
I don't even remember last week's.
I don't remember this stuff. He remembers it all. And so it's kind of funny to listen to his stories and just to see. Then I'm thinking, how did he, I'm a good assistant coach type of thing. So, and then I'm thinking, what was he do? How did he do this when he didn't have an assistant coach? Because when I played, we didn't have an assistant coach. We had 5 courts. He always keeps everybody. He never cuts. So there's always 30 or 40 girls, and he would have 2 practices, 1 practice for 2 hours. And then the next group of 20 girls would come in for another 2 hours. And I'm thinking, I don't know how he did all this back then, but.
Do you still do that? Or is it, since you're there, you can go and watch everyone else too?
Yeah, we can get everybody all at once. Yeah, no, I can't.
Do you have like a focus, like an area, like you're this doubles coach or singles, or is it just kind of you guys go around and?
It's different each year. So some years I've been singles, some years I've been doubles.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So
go. Talk.
Go.
Answer the question.
No. Some years has been singles and some years has been doubles. I started off primarily singles and then recently have done more doubles. So
is that just because you played doubles and you were more comfortable with that, or is it just kind of the way it rolled out?
Yeah, I mean, Rusty's kind of the doubles genius though. So I coach doubles, but it's mainly I'm like, well, what are we doing? And he says it. So it just kind of, he would rather just be able to watch everybody, while they're playing. Yeah. And then myself, and we've had a couple of volunteers. Well, my sister would coach with us like before they moved to middle school season, and we'd take turns who could coach. Sometimes Rusty wouldn't even be one of the actual coaches. It would be myself and Laura, because you can only have 2 coaches coaching. And so he would just kind of tell us what to go say, and we'd run around. And so,
yeah. So what's it like just being a coach at Franklin High School and knowing that you played there and you kind of built that up? Like, is that special to you, just knowing kind of the blood and sweat and tears you put into the program growing up, or does that even kind of register? Because for me, when I started working there again this year, it doesn't even seem like the same place, because the only thing that's really like familiar to me are some of the pictures that were
the old pictures.
Like I recognize those from when I was there, but other than that, like there's hardly anyone there who's the same. And so is it like, does it seem similar or?
Yeah, the only reason why I do it is because it's Franklin tennis. Like, I wouldn't coach anywhere else. And I do it because it's Franklin tennis, because it's such a good program. And Rusty is, like we said, Hall of Fame coach. He is a superstar person in the fact that his number one goal is always to make the girls just enjoy it. And like that he is not the hardcore yell, scream, punish, get stressed out. And so I love continuing that, like with the girls, and seeing how the program has changed has been incredible. Like I said, we went from 5 courts, no assistant coach, and now we've got these great, 10 courts over at the new high school.
The high school itself has air conditioning, which is nice.
Right. That's a step up.
It had when we were there.
I mean, it's just like, it's crazy to see all the different, how it's come about, and seeing like, okay, so I was a freshman that was bored, and I just said, well, I'm going to go do tennis because my parents are making me do something. And that's not really the case anymore. Like these girls, we get them when they're in 5th or 6th grade, and they, work all the way through. So, and we get kind of good athletes then. And it helps. I'm in the 5th grade classrooms, so I can kind of scout out, watch recess, see who's got some moves.
So is there like a pipeline program? Because I know a lot of people or of programs do that, or a lot of sports do that. Do you have a pipeline program?
Yeah, I mean, we've got our middle school program. We run a little kids clinic in the summer, but for much before 5th grade, you can't really tell. It's hard for them to walk at the same time. So 5th grade, I tried to do not this year, obviously, but the last week of school, we're able to do at Custer Baker kind of like a fun class. Teachers get whatever class they want to do. And I do a tennis class. So I get all these kids sign up for a tennis class because it's outside and we're outside playing. And I can be like, hey, we've got summer stuff, and tennis is a lot of fun. And, this would be a good thing to try in the spring. And so try to get kids that way. And we do summer clinics, and then my sister Laura's got the middle school program, and they've had just incredible records at the middle school for the past 5 or 6 years. So we've had a good feeder program.
So with the 5th grade class that you do, is that mainly so you can just play and hit the ball back at him real hard and just like start yelling at him? Stop crying, Samantha. You suck. No, you will never make it FCHS tennis with that kind of attitude.
No. But it is, I'll tell you what, in May, it's so nice to be outside. The kids, they sign up for that. They love it, even if they've never played it before, just because they can be outside and go play a little bit. So, well,
the tennis ball bouncing and hitting on the racket and everything, that's like, it's got a cool sound. I mean, not joking. That it's like kind of a weird kind of cool sound, and you get tennis rackets and they're kind of bright colory, and you're like, and then if you get mad, you can just swing and hit the ball really hard, and it's like, oh, sorry, that's what I was supposed to do. Well, the court's that way, and you hit it that way, so that is not accurate.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
Okay, so a couple more questions. On this podcast, I usually have a co-host with me. His name is Chaz Hill.
Okay, yeah.
And Chaz is a big movie guy. Now, he wants to know, he asked, what 3 to 5 of your favorite movies are?
Oh gosh. So, and I'm not a big, and so this is kind of weird. I'm not a big movie person. Now, my brother, Tommy, he's all theater and
Mhm.
he's a big movie guy. But I will say during this quarantine, we have been able to watch all of the Star Wars movies in chronological order, including Solo and Rogue One. And I would say that that's my favorite movie group, like series for sure. And like if I choose to watch, movies, it would be Star Wars.
Chaz would love that.
And now that's
I'm
it.
indifferent.
Oh man, no. Ray is like my favorite. It's a good thing she came out after I had kids, or I would have named a girl Ray for sure. And I'm a big animated Disney fan too. So my kids at school know that if it's movie day, we're watching Tangled or Moana or something. So
we watched the end of Aladdin yesterday when I went and pick up my daughter. They had on at my wife's aunt's house. They had on Aladdin, and I was watching the end of it. I was like, "Oh, I love this movie!" And so,
I know you just can't beat those.
I know, that's great. Okay, so that's his question. So my question is always: I have someone leave a question,
Okay.
whoever the last guest was, and our guest yesterday was Mike Krasnoy. But he had to get off quick because we kept him over, and so he didn't leave a question. So
Okay.
it's from me.
Okay.
So I talked about how we've been friends for a long time, and we went to college together, and we were in college. And so no one's going to understand this question anymore, except for me and you, if possible. Okay. So I have one question for you, and I want to see if this jogs back any memories.
Okay.
Who is the man?
No. The man.
Yes.
Oh.
If you can't get this in like 10 seconds, I'll explain it.
No, I don't know. I can't remember. Must not have been thinking.
So remember when we went, me and you went to that the Oak and Bucket game at Purdue that one year when Drew Brees was the quarterback, and you drugged me to that game. You're like, "Hey, come to this game with me. I've got an extra ticket." I was like, "I don't know."
I drug you. I think you agree. You were okay with that.
I don't know why I would want to go to that because he was not very good, and Purdue I think went to the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
So Purdue won 66-20 because I still see that score come up. I'm like, I was at that game, and Bullington would not let me leave because I was like, I am done with this. Like, let's go. Like, no, we're staying watching the whole game. Because that was when they went to the Rose Bowl, so they were walking around with the roses in their mouth. I'm like, God, this sucks so bad. So there was a question. It came up on the Jumbotron. I'll never forget it. And it just said, "Who is the man?" It was like a quiz. It was like, "Hey, sponsored by First Financial Bank or whatever." And it said, "Who is the man?" And I remember looking at you and I go, "I swear if this says Joe Tiller is the man, I am going to kill everyone." And it came up and it said Joe Tiller is the man. And I was so pissed off. Every time I see Joe Tiller now, every time I saw a picture for anything with Joe Tiller, I was like, "Oh, there's Joe Tiller. He's the man." And I was so pissed.
He was, man. He brought that whole program back. I just remember you were pretty brave. No, you didn't wear IU stuff. I thought you might have, and I was worried, but I think you were neutral.
I probably would have worn something IU. Maybe I wore like an IU shirt underneath.
But I was really concerned. And then there was kind of there was some mouthing going, like some talk going on getting back to our car.
Yeah, that seems accurate. I would have been like 20 or 21. So yes. That completely seems accurate.
Because I think I remember saying, if you get in a fight with somebody, I'm like, I'm not going to fix this.
Well, the thing with that too is that I don't think I like comprehended was that I was super annoyed. And also like I was we were both of clear judgment.
Yes. Yeah. No.
And so I was talking to people who I do not think were of clear
No.
judgment. And
No.
so I had 100% clear judgment, and I'm still saying this stuff. And I probably didn't register because I do remember you grabbing me. I think
Yeah.
you have to shut up. And I don't even know like what I would have talked about because my team just got beat by 5 touchdowns.
No, I mean, I think it was just, I think so, like another guy was just running his mouth about stuff. And then I think you threw in something about basketball. And then that's probably.
I can't even do that anymore.
Because that's what you would have done anyway. I mean, like, that makes sense.
I've got baseball now. That's what I'm going with former podcast guest Jeff Mercer. We've got IU baseball.
I can't believe that. I mean, that's good. Good for him. Good for him. And they're a good program. Yep.
They beat Purdue 17-2 this year.
I know. Yes, before it got called. Yes, did see that.
All right, Amanda, thank you so much for coming on here and joining us. And sorry about this season; it really does suck. I feel so bad for all the kids and the coaches because I know, as a former coach, I know what goes into that, and then kind of the just excitement that would be, and especially with you all with the great seniors that you have in the group and just the high expectations. And so I just really am kind of digging the knife in. So I should just
that's okay. That's all right.
I'm really sorry, but I do appreciate it. And I know that, you guys will bring the program up and you'll be good to go in the future. So
yes. Yep.
All right. Well, for my co-host who is not here, Chaz Hill, I am Brian Powers. And next week, we'll be doing something really special, kind of talking about Amanda's seniors. We will be having senior days starting next week. So our podcast will have a little bit different of a look. We're going to have on the spring sports seniors. So we're really excited about that. And we will see you next week. Have a great weekend.